Hey y'all. Hello. Happy Friday. Let me make sure you guys can hear me okay. Happy Friday, y'all. Come on in here. Come on in here. I want you guys to drop a money bag in the chat as you are coming in. Go ahead and drop a money bag in the chat. Hello, 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 hello. Hey, Demetria. Drop a money bag in the chat as you are coming in here, because we are going to be talking about getting this money. Hello. Come on in here so we can talk about this money, honey. All right, boom. So let me just pull up a couple things so I can be ready for y'all. Yes, hey Maya, hey Sharice, hey Trilani, hey Goddess. Drop some money bags in the chat. All right, y'all, so we are gonna go over, hey boo. I appreciate you being in my lives. You've been one of my day ones, girl. Okay, boom. Thank you guys. It's definitely 11 o'clock here, so a part of the glow is the lights in the living room that are helping me to have a little extra shine, but it's definitely 11 o'clock. But I will definitely say too that the weather here is really good. I also drink a ton of water. I also mind my business, and yeah, I think that those things definitely contribute to, you know, a nice glow and just peace. You know, I'd be like, you know what? My name is Bennett and I ain't in it. So, and that's fine with me. That is fine with me. That's good. How to look when marketing your business. I like that. Ooh, I was about to say something. I'm not gonna say it. But where am I? I'm in Senegal, West Africa. So I've been living here for the last 6 months. If you're new here, you may not know that. But yes, I'm living in Senegal, West Africa, y'all. I've been here since July. I'm half Senegalese, so I was already familiar with Senegal, but my husband is also Senegalese. And when we got married, he was like, you know, what if you guys spend a year in Senegal with me? And I was like, okay. I was like, you know, that actually sounds like fun. That sounds like a good idea. I'm on my way. So yeah, my husband, so I have 4 children from a previous marriage. I got divorced in 2020 and I met my husband in 2022 and we got married at the end of 2022. So we've officially had our full year, but my husband doesn't have kids. So these are his kids. You know, I'm like, if you love me, you love them too. You know, I come as a full, complete package. It's me plus 4 sides. So and he was like, okay, when y'all coming? So yeah, it's been pretty dope. That's definitely another, you know, like set of classes that I want to do with you guys, is how I survived divorce, because that's hard, how I survived single motherhood, because that's hard, and then how I got remarried. I want you guys to know, just real quick before we get into class, you know, if you are a single mother here watching, or if you or just a single person and wanting to really believe and keep hope that you can have love again, that you can find the right person, I want you to know that you can, okay? He's on the way, or she's on the way. Y'all, ladies, comment he's on the way. Fellas, comment she's on the way, okay? Or whoever you're looking for. If you're looking for a lady or if you're looking for a man, just comment they're on the way. Because I really want you guys to know that when you do the work on yourself and when you commit to your growth and development and really, you know, focus on becoming the best version of you that God wants you to be, that's when God aligns you with who you're supposed to be with. And sometimes it's like, I did not think I was going to end up marrying, you know, another Senegalese. My first husband was of Senegalese descent too. And we make plans and God laughs, okay? But as long as you're in alignment and as long as you're focusing on who God wants you to be and, you know, really staying true to that, He's not gonna lead you astray. He's gonna lead you in the right direction, okay? And I will say that one of the main things that helps you to get it together, right? And to be in a good place is focusing on your business. And I don't just mean your business as in your life, but starting a business, right? You know, picking up another hobby, starting to make additional money, becoming self-sufficient. These things help increase your self-value. When I got out of my marriage, it was an abusive marriage. So I was all, you know, I thought I was the problem, you know, just really lacking confidence. But when I started my business, I truly believe that that's what saved me. Because when you build something, when you start to fertilize an idea that you have, and when you really trust God to bring this idea through and you start doing the work, you see yourself in a different way. You know, you're not going to accept or tolerate maybe the things you used to tolerate in the past, because you look at yourself as, hold up, you know, I'm capable of taking an idea and bringing it to fruition. I'm capable of, you know, downloading an idea from God and starting to work on it. Like, I'm a boss, you know what I mean? I can do this no matter how much you start making. But when you focus on an idea that you have, bringing it to life, staying consistent, being disciplined, the type of person you look for and the type of person that you attract and that ends up being attracted to you is a different type of person, okay? So that's why I'm so passionate about helping y'all grow your businesses, because, you know, making money is not only just good because you can pay bills. Making money is powerful because it really changes how you see yourself. It changes how you operate in the world. It changes the type of conversations you have. It changes the kind of, you know, people you talk to, just the whole thing, okay? So Operation Wealth is in effect so that you can see the results throughout your whole life, not just in your bank account, but truly throughout your whole life. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, okay? Now, let's get into class. So the reason I wanted to come on here and go over how you are going to operate your business correctly, manage your business, your finances, the whole nine, okay? You guys know I get hundreds of questions in my DMs every day or in my stories. And so I always try to look for the themes that are coming up the most often and go live about them, all right? So a question that has been coming up is how to, you know, budget for my business, how many accounts do I need to have, and how to pay myself. So I want you guys to understand something here. When you build a business, and as you're building a business, there's two different ways for you to pay yourself, okay? One of them is if you are situated as an LLC, The other is if you are situated as an S Corp, and we'll go over the difference between the two in just a bit. But before we get to that, okay, I want you guys to comment the word foundation. We have to make sure that your business foundation, in terms of how you're organizing your money and what your accounts look like, let's make sure that that's together first. I want you guys to comment the word foundation, okay? Oh no, I can't see comments anymore. It's like Instagram. Let me see. How can I see myself live on Instagram? Foundation. All right, YouTube. I'm just going to see if I can watch my live on IG, because I don't see the comments moving on IG. And excuse me. I want to make sure that they can hear me. I have a question. One of you guys from YouTube, would you do me a favor? 40693. Would one of you pop over, if you can, if you have Instagram, will you pop over to Ellie Talks Money on Instagram and just see if they can hear me? I'm going to Instagram. If you guys can hear me, just comment yes in the chat. Someone from Instagram, from YouTube, will you pop over to IG and just see if the chat is moving? Because I don't want to start the live over, but let me see. Okay, they can hear me. All right, cool. I pulled it up on my computer, so we're good. Okay, cool. All right, awesome. I pulled it up over here, so to make sure that they can hear me. All right, so we got devices, y'all. We are locked in. So you guys commented the word foundation. So one of the first things you have to pay attention to is this. Excuse me. Number one, when you start your business, you have to have a business bank account, okay? Now, there's going to be all types of people who try to tell you, oh, it's not necessary to form an LLC at the beginning. You don't need to have that expense, blase, blase, blah. You definitely do need to form an LLC when you are beginning your business. Now, when you're still in idea phase, maybe you don't have to form an LLC if you don't even know what your business is, right? But once you know what you want to do, you have an idea of what you want to start selling, go ahead and form the entity, because the sooner you have the LLC, the sooner you can build business credit, and the sooner you can open up your business bank account. And this is going to set you in the direction of being able to secure business funding and overall operate your business properly. Okay. So once you get your business bank account, first things first, you all should have relationships with at least 2 different banks. So when you're opening your business bank account, don't think of it as one bank that you have to choose to stay with. You should open a business bank account with one bank, right? A traditional bank, so like a Chase, a Bank of America, I don't like Wells Fargo, PNC, Key Bank, right? Think of like a bank, a large national bank. You should have one account with at least a large national bank, okay? Now, the other account that you want to have, and you have to think of building relationships as, you don't necessarily want to put your eggs in one basket when it comes to your business and to your lending, right? So when it comes to a relationship, be loyal, be faithful. You need one man, you need one woman. But when it comes to your business and securing funding, you need to have a bunch of options, okay? That's the only time in which I will tell you to keep a couple on the side, all right? So yes, you wanna have a traditional bank, but you also should have a relationship with a credit union, okay? Now, Navy Federal has been a good option, but it was recently discovered in a national lawsuit that they have basically discriminatory lending practices. So I still have my Navy account. You might still have it too. You can still keep it, but let's diversify, right? So other great credit unions are PenFed. You might also want to look at credit unions that are in your area, okay? Now, it's always good to have both of these options, because if you go to the traditional bank, and we know that most of the time traditional banks are a little bit stricter on funding, right? Whereas credit unions, because of the fact that they are, mutually based, a lot of the time there are additional funding programs available for you. And credit unions have some relationships with CDFIs, which are community development financial institutions. So you're keeping a relationship with both a bank, a credit union, and maybe one other small local bank in your area, so that when it's time for you to shop funding, you've got options, right? You have your big bank, okay? You have your credit union, you have your little bank, and this is really good for you because you don't know necessarily which one is going to say yes or no. And you also are in an even better position if they all say yes, okay? It gives you even more funding for you to leverage and use for passive income, all right? And for growing your business. So once you have your different relationships, you still will choose one bank where most of your money runs through, okay? So for me, most of my activity is going to be through Chase, right? That's my main bank for most things. But I also have Navy, I also have smaller banks, I also have a Black-owned bank, right? But you're gonna choose one bank where most of your activity takes place, and here are the 5 accounts that you need, okay? If you don't have these 5 accounts that I'm mentioning, as soon as we get off this live or tomorrow morning, tomorrow will be Saturday, go to your bank or go onto your app and I want you to open these accounts, okay? Comment deal in the chat if that's a deal. Comment deal in the chat if that's a deal. I don't know who you are, but I'm removing you from my live. Okay, boom. All right, cool, deal. So you want to have 5 accounts. First things first, you're going to have your income account. This is the account that your money goes into, okay? As it sounds. So every time you make a sale, every time somebody pays an invoice, every time you, sell a product, right? Every time you do someone's hair, whatever the case is, that money is going to go into your income account. So this is the account that basically shows all the money that your business is making, okay? This account is important. Now, next account you need to have is an expenses account, right? For operational expenses. You can call it expenses, you can call it, operations, whatever works. I call mine expenses account. So this account is where you are setting aside money to pay for all of the expenses that happen in your business. Now, somebody commented, excuse me, on, I don't know if it was a YouTube video or something a few days ago and was like, I don't think you need multiple accounts, you just need a good bookkeeper. And I was like, well, I appreciate your comment. However, you need both, okay? And the reason why I'm standing on business with this and the fact that you need both is if you do not separate where your money comes in from where your money comes out, you cannot clearly see what's coming in and what's coming out. I want you guys to comment me in the chat and be open and honest if you have had moments where you have felt like you have no idea actually how much your business profited because you couldn't see what you were spending versus what you were making. Comment me in the chat and I'll raise my hand too. Because before I updated my accounts in this way back in 2021, and granted, this was at the beginning of my business, so I didn't have a ton of expenses, but I still had no idea what was really going on because it was all coming out of the same place, okay? This is also how I manage my personal money, right? We'll talk about personal budgeting on another day. But you always need to have 2 different places where the money comes in and where the money comes out. Because in business, your main goal is to be profitable. Revenue and profit are extremely different things. So let me just tell you guys something. When you all see these screenshots all over the internet of however much someone made, congratulations. I love that for them. But always remember, those screenshots only show revenue. Revenue and profits are very different. A business can bring in $10 million and it looks amazing and you're like, wow, I want to know how this person did it. And a business can also be spending $9,500,000. And the profit, keyword, the profit is actually only $500K. Okay? So, and this is just a fact, right? You have to recognize that revenue and profit are different. And one of the key ways to make sure you have more profit is to separate where your money's coming in and where your money is going out. And you also want to have QuickBooks and a bookkeeper. But again, don't get too excited by these screenshots, honey, because people love to post screenshots. You know, yeah. I know you guys have seen the screenshots, right? Maybe that's a part of their marketing strategy, and I love that for them. I really do. But I just want you to pay attention and always know, well, I see your screenshot, but what's your profit? What the margins looking like? What is that after expense screenshot looking like? What's in your bank account? Okay, so you always got to know that, and always know for your business as well, however much you make is fantastic, but you want to be making profit, right? I always aim for my business to have a 60 to 70% profit margin. There's no business that exists where you're not gonna spend money. 50% profit margin is great too, but if you can be over 50% in the 60, 70 range, we can work with that, right? We can work with that. So back to the accounts. Gotta have an income account, gotta have an expense account. And the way that you're going to navigate these is every month or every 2 weeks, depending on the type of expenses you have and how frequently they're charged, you should be transferring an amount from your income account to your expenses account to cover whatever's going to be coming out, okay? So if you spend $3,000 a month on things like inventory, maybe you have some contractors, you use certain apps and etc., then you should be transferring either $3,000 a month from your income account or $1,500 every 2 weeks, okay? So essentially your income account does not have a debit card. You do not swipe from that account. The only thing that occurs in that account, excuse me, are deposits and transfers. That's it. From your income account, the only thing that's taking place are deposits and transfers. That's it. Okay? I don't want to see no Chipotle charges in your income account. I don't want to know when you went to, Office Depot. I don't want to see no Amazon charges in your income account. All of those things come out of the expense account. And better yet, you have a business credit card where you pay for your expenses. Then you transfer the money from your income account to your expense account, and you pay your credit card from your expense account. That's the best rotation. But if you don't have a business credit card yet, then you would pay it from your expense account. Once you get a business credit card, everything goes on the business credit card. So you get the points, so you get the perks. Then you pay your business credit card from your expense account. Okay? Drop a gem in the chat if that's making sense. I keep twisting my hair because when it's out, it's like tickling my neck. And I don't know, with this pregnancy, y'all, like just little things irk me. You know, it was so funny yesterday. So we have in Senegal, it's very customary to have someone that cooks for you on a daily basis. So she made fried fish the other day. And it was great. It smelled really good. But like, you know, in Senegal, the fish comes straight from the ocean. Like, that fish came out the water that day. And so they don't cut off the head, you know, it's the whole fish. And y'all, like, after the fish was fried, when I just looked at the fish and I could see the eyes, I couldn't do it. I was like, I can't eat this. I don't know if it was the pregnancy or what, but like my pickiness for certain things is really heightened right now. And it just freaked me out. I called my dad and I was like, Papa, I don't understand, but I can't eat this fish. Like, it's looking at me. Why? Like, they should have took the eyes out. You know, I'm like, do you agree with me? Like, they should have took the eyes out because I can't eat this. I don't know, y'all. I don't know if I'm having a boy or a girl. But what I do know is some things I cannot take. I don't want this hair touching the back of my neck. And I don't want no fish eyes in my fried fish. So I'm going to tell her next week when she makes fried fish again to please, you know, separate mine, take off the head, you know, just fillet it and put it on the plate, okay? Just take it off. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see the eyes. I don't want to know that it just came out the ocean. It's just too much. It's too real. I digress. Anyways, back to the subject at hand, okay? So we're talking about your income account, your expense account, right? And if you have a business credit card, you should always be using that to pay for things, then you pay it back. The next account that you need to have is, y'all gotta flow with me, okay? The next account that you need to have is a tax account. Now, I know we don't like to talk about taxes, we don't like to pay taxes, but taxes are very real, okay? And the reason why it's key to have this account is so that you can start setting money aside throughout the year. The very worst thing is to not think about taxes, not set anything aside, and then you've got a tax bill, and now you have to figure out how you're gonna pay this tax bill. We don't wanna deal with that, right? So you wanna be setting money aside, usually anywhere from 10 to 15%, either on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis. It's easier to do it monthly so it doesn't feel like such a big chunk. You're moving it over to that tax account. Now remember, based on your tax write-offs and things like that, you may not have a large tax bill, but it's always best to just have the money sitting there so that you don't have to stress about it later. The fourth account that you wanna have, so far we have income account, expenses, taxes, and the fourth is going to be things like payroll or your owner's pay, okay? Now we're gonna talk about how to pay yourself, but you do wanna have a separate account that represents the money that you pay yourself or the money that you pay your team. Okay, so I have a separate account just for payroll. Whenever it's time to run payroll for the month, I transfer whatever's needed, excuse me, from the income account. It comes out of the payroll account. It's all documented. I already know how much is coming out of that account, okay? Lastly, and this account, you know, I wouldn't say it's optional, but it may not be an account you open right away in your business. I'll give you guys at least 90 days to open this, but this is going to be your investments account, okay? Now, the reason why you wanna have an investment account for your business is this. When you start making money, okay? I always teach you guys about what? I always teach you about leverage. The business that you have and the money that it starts to make is not only in position to help the business grow, but you should be setting aside a little bit of what your business is making to invest in future income streams, to invest in additional assets. I want you guys to comment the word leverage in the chat. Comment leverage in the chat. Yes. 10 to 15% of what you make. Yes, I will do a recap, Jessica. 10 to 15% of what you make. So let's run that back, right? We'll go back to taxes really quick. So from your income account, you're transferring money to these additional accounts. Now, again, depending on how much your business is making, transferring 10% to taxes may be a stretch. It may not be something you can do right away, but you want to make sure that it is there. You want to make sure that you have that habit so that you don't get surprised by a tax bill at the end of the year, right? So your income account, you move the money to expenses to pay for expenses. You move money to taxes to cover account, to cover payroll. And then lastly, your investments account, okay? So the money that your business makes, you want to set aside a portion. I would say less than 10%, just depending on what your revenue is, and keep it in a pot that you can leverage down the road to invest in assets. For example, things like buying a car in your business name, things like real estate, things like stocks, because as a business, you can open up corporate investment accounts so that you are investing in your personal name with an individual brokerage. And then you can also open up a corporate brokerage where your business is the one investing in the stock market, okay? Both of those things. A lot of people don't know that, but yes, you as an individual can invest in an individual brokerage. Your business can also open up a corporate brokerage. It's going to be called different things at different companies, but a corporate brokerage where it can also invest, okay? So you're making money, your business is also making additional money, right? So that's what that investment account is for. You want to make sure that you're always thinking ahead, right? The goal is when you're making money, you are thinking about how to take some of this money and put it aside to make you more money. Something you might invest in could also be corporate real estate. You want to start putting money aside for that down payment, for that deposit, whatever the case may be, okay? Now, outside of these accounts, everyone is gonna need a business savings account at some point, right? Because you do wanna make sure that you're always keeping a little bit of an emergency fund for your business. But these are the 5: income, expenses, taxes, payroll, and investments, okay? Then of course you're gonna have a business savings account. Now, one thing I want you guys to really think about, the reason why you want to make sure you have a separate place for where your money goes in and where your money comes out is when you apply to funding, okay? Most lenders, right, depending on what type of loan you're applying for or a credit card you're applying for, they're going to ask you for some bank statements. You do not want to give them bank statements that have all your, again, Chipotle charges, all your inventory purchases, all your different things, the time you go to get gas, whatever else you're spending on in your business. This is not giving them a elevated look at your business operations, okay? The only statements you're giving them are of the income account, showing deposits and transfers. It's a lot cleaner, it's a lot more professional, and it gives a heightened perspective of your business to where this lender has the confidence to be able to trust that you can manage this loan or line of credit that they're about to give you just in the same way that you're managing your actual accounts, right? And this is why it's so important to have a payment processor. So if you're someone who's still using Cash App, where my Cash App Kathy's at, or you're still using Zelle in your business, yes, the Chosen Ninja, these accounts will be all at one bank, okay? Not stressful at all, I'm telling you. I'll break it down. So, what was I saying? Dang, I lost my train of thought. Oh, yes. Those of you who are still using Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, Venmo, or if you're using cash in your business, you need to make sure that you switch over to a payment processor immediately, because every time you get a deposit into your account from a payment processor like a Stripe, a Square, QuickBooks, etc., these things increase your bank rating with your lending institution, your bank, because it lets them know that, you know, this money is being deposited from another reputable company, okay? And with that, you're able to have more reputability when you give your bank statements to a lender. And as well, when you're using a payment processor, every time you run payments through a payment processor, you start increasing your ability to qualify for a line of credit. So QuickBooks will offer you a line of credit without checking your personal credit score. Stripe will offer you a line of credit without checking your personal credit score. Square will do the same thing. All of these are called working capital. Write that down in the chat. Working capital. Cash App doesn't offer you working capital. Zelle doesn't offer you working capital. PayPal might, but PayPal's been a little shady lately. I know a lot of people who have left PayPal. I don't even use PayPal. I stopped using it in 2021. So, you know, tread lightly if you're using PayPal, because they snatch money out your account real quick, okay? But yeah, these places are not giving you working capital. But Stripe, Square, QuickBooks, they're going to offer you working capital. As soon as you start running consistent sales through those platforms, sometimes it takes less than 90 days to be offered working capital, okay? And Stripe will offer you as low as $10,000 all the way up to $150,000 in working capital without a personal credit check. QuickBooks as well. They will offer you, as low as $11,000, and the highest I've seen through QuickBooks is $75,000 in working capital. No personal credit check, right? And it's all because you're using their platform to run your payments. So if you're currently accepting cash in your business, you need to stop. But in order to start switching over to a model that will at least help you to build up your bank rating and get better bank statements, you have to set up some deposit days. So if people pay you for, you know, hair, nails, services, whatever the case is, and they give you the money in cash, you have to be disciplined and choose one day of the week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, whatever works for you, where you are going to go deposit that cash, okay? Those are your deposit days. So listen up. If somebody paid you for their hair on a Friday in cash, don't go shopping first. Don't go spend the money on yourself first. It needs to touch your bank account, y'all. It needs to touch your business bank account. And the reason why it needs to touch your business bank account is because you want to give yourself as much income as you can put in your business bank account. Think of it as it is going to come back to you in the form of a loan. The more you can show that your business is making, the more that companies will want to lend to you in the form of a credit card or a loan or a line of credit. But a lot of the time, if you're not getting funding, but your business is making money, it's because they don't see the money. They cannot take your word for it. They have to look at something. So you might be making, I remember my braider in LA. She's amazing. She was making over $10,000 a month doing hair, LLC and everything. But guess how she was taking all her payments? Zelle and Cash App. And you know, it used to hurt me every time I had to Zelle her. And I would tell her, I'm like, girl, I'm not coming back to you. Cause I'm out here, I'm teaching how to do the right thing, and you got me paying you in Zelle. And I remember I gave her a ton of lenders, you know, just really helped her to secure funding. And it was so challenging for her because even though cash-wise, right, this money is flowing through her business, what ends up showing in her account is maybe $1,000 or $2,000 a month, right? And that's not bad, but if you're applying for a $100,000 loan or, you know, an American Express card with no limit, they gotta see something. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, this is very important for those of y'all who are service-based businesses. Immediately switch over and start setting up deposit days. Once you get to a consistent place of depositing money in your account on the same day of every week, what that's gonna do is create a pattern. So if you set up your deposit days for every Thursday, that means when your bank